In the golden city of Dubai, where tall glass towers touched the sky and luxury cars glided across shining roads, lived a man named Sheikh Khalid Al Mansour. He was one of the richest men in the country, a billionaire with businesses that stretched from oil and construction to hotels and real estate. People respected him not only for his wealth but for his calm and humble nature. Despite owning everything a man could dream of, he treated everyone with kindness, from his business partners to the workers who cleaned his house. Among the many people who worked in his large mansion was a woman named Amina. She had been with the Sheikh's family for more than 10 years. Every morning, she arrived quietly, wearing a simple black abaya, her scarf neatly pinned, her face showing both tiredness and grace. She was the kind of woman who never complained. No matter how long the day or how heavy the work, she always greeted everyone with a warm smile and a gentle, "Good morning, sir." Amina came from a small village outside the city. Life had not been easy for her. Her husband had passed away when their daughter, Layla, was just 5 years old. Since then, Amina had carried the entire world on her shoulders, working long hours as a maid to pay for food, rent, and her daughter's school. Every dirham she earned went straight to Layla's education because she believed that one day, her daughter's books would open doors that had always been closed to her. Layla, now 15, was a quiet but bright girl. She loved reading stories, drawing, and dreaming about the future. Every evening, after her school ended, she would come to the Sheikh's house and wait for her mother to finish work. While Amina dusted the furniture or prepared the dining room, Layla would sit in a corner with her schoolbooks, doing her homework quietly. She never disturbed anyone. Sometimes, the Sheikh's wife would see her and offer a plate of dates or a glass of juice. Everyone in the mansion liked Layla. She was polite, respectful, and full of innocence, a gentle light in her mother's hard life. One warm afternoon, the golden sun poured through the tall windows of the Sheikh's living room. Amina was cleaning the shelves when Sheikh Khalid walked in, holding a cup of Arabic coffee. His eyes fell on Layla, sitting cross-legged on the carpet, reading a small, old English novel. She looked focused, her lips moving softly as she tried to understand the difficult words. The Sheikh smiled. He was a father himself, and seeing young people eager to learn always warmed his heart. "What are you reading, little one?" he asked kindly. Layla looked up quickly, a little nervous. "It's a storybook, sir. For school," she said in a soft voice. He nodded. "Do you like studying?" Her eyes lit up immediately. "Yes, sir. Very much. I want to finish school and maybe one day have my own business." The Sheikh raised an eyebrow, slightly amused. "Your own business? That's a big dream. What kind of business?" Layla thought for a moment. "Something that helps people, sir. Maybe a shop, or something with food. I don't know yet, but I want to work hard and make my mother proud." Her words were simple, but her tone carried determination beyond her years. The Sheikh chuckled softly and reached into the pocket of his white kandura. He pulled out his wallet and took a single US dollar bill. He handed it to her with a small smile. "Here," he said. "Let's see what you can do with this." Layla looked at the dollar, unsure what to say. A dollar was not much in a city like Dubai, maybe enough to buy a bottle of water. But the Sheikh's eyes were kind, and she understood it wasn't about the money. It was about something else, maybe a test, maybe a lesson. She accepted it politely, pressing the note between her small fingers. "Thank you, sir," she said softly. The Sheikh smiled again and walked away, still thinking about the bright spark he had seen in her eyes. To him, it was just a small, friendly gesture, something to encourage a child's dreams. But to Layla, it meant far more. That single dollar was the first time anyone had trusted her with something. The first time someone powerful had looked at her not as the maid's daughter, but as a person with potential. Later that evening, as Amina finished cleaning the kitchen, Layla showed her the dollar. "Mama, look," she said with excitement. "The Sheikh gave this to me." Amina was surprised. "For what, my child?" "He asked about my dreams," Layla replied proudly. "And then he said, 'Let's see what you can do with this.'" Amina laughed softly. "Oh, my sweet girl. He was being kind. Don't think too much about it." But Layla shook her head. No, Mama. I think he meant something. Maybe he's testing me. Maybe he wants to see if I can do something with it. Amina smiled at her daughter's imagination, yet something in Layla's voice made her pause. The girl's eyes were shining with determination. She held the dollar like it was a treasure, not for its value, but for what it represented. Hope, belief, and a challenge. That night, as Layla lay in bed, she couldn't sleep. The words of the sheik echoed in her mind. Let's see what you can do with this. She kept staring at the dollar under the dim light, her mind spinning with ideas. She didn't know how yet, but one thing was certain. She was going to turn that single dollar into something bigger. And that was how a billionaire's small gesture unknowingly started a story that would soon change all their lives. The next afternoon, the big white mansion of Sheikh Khalid was quiet. The air smelled of jasmine and fresh polish. Amina was busy dusting the furniture in the main hall, her hands moving quickly, her mind half on her work and half on her daughter, Layla. Layla had come again that day after school. She sat near the corner of the living room, waiting for her mother to finish. Her school uniform looked a bit old, but she wore it neatly. Her shoes were clean, her hair tied back in two simple braids. She had the same book in her lap that she had been reading the day before, though her thoughts kept drifting back to the dollar bill folded safely inside her notebook. She kept thinking about the sheik's words. Let's see what you can do with this. Felt less like a joke now and more like a challenge. Could she really do something with only $1? It didn't seem possible, yet a small voice inside her said she had to try. While she sat there lost in thought, Sheikh Khalid walked in again. He noticed her immediately, the same quiet girl sitting patiently near the window. He smiled. You're here again? Layla stood up quickly and nodded. Yes, sir. I come every day after school to wait for my mother. The sheik walked closer, curiosity growing in his eyes. And what do you do while you wait? Layla shrugged shyly. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I just think. He laughed softly. Think about what? She hesitated for a moment, then said honestly, about how to use the dollar you gave me. The sheik looked surprised, then amused. You're still thinking about that? Yes, sir, she said. I want to make it grow. I just don't know how yet. Her answer made him pause. There was something different about this girl. Most children her age would have spent that dollar on candy or a toy, but she had kept it safe, treating it like something valuable. He could see a spark in her, a hunger to learn, to prove herself. He nodded slowly. That's good, he said. Keep thinking. Sometimes big ideas start small, very small. Layla smiled politely, but her mind was racing. She wanted to ask him for advice, but she didn't want to seem too bold. So she stayed quiet, holding on to his words like a secret treasure. After the sheik left the room, Amina came in carrying a tray of tea. What were you talking to him about? She asked, curious. Layla grinned. He asked about the dollar again. Amina sighed softly. My dear, don't worry about that dollar. It was only a kind gesture. But Layla shook her head. No, Mama. It's more than that. It's like a door he opened. Now it's my job to walk through it. Amina didn't reply. She looked at her daughter for a long moment, seeing the quiet determination on her face, and something in her heart softened. Maybe she thought this girl really was meant for something greater. That evening, after returning home to their small apartment, Layla pulled out her school notebook. The pages were filled with notes and doodles, but tonight she started a new page. At the top, she wrote in neat letters, how to make $1 grow. Then she began listing ideas, small, childish ideas at first. Buy a small pack of gum and sell the pieces one by one. Buy water bottles and sell them near the park. Make paper flowers and sell them to neighbors. Each idea seemed too small, too silly, but she didn't stop. She kept writing until her eyes grew tired. Finally, she whispered to herself, tomorrow, I'll try something. The next day, after school, Layla walked with her mother to the market. The air was hot and filled with the smell of spices, fruits, and roasted nuts. Crowds of people moved around them, calling out prices and greetings. Layla's eyes sparkled as she looked around. Everything looked full of opportunity. At a small shop near the entrance, She saw bottles of cold water stacked in the fridge. Each one cost exactly 1 dirham, about the same as her dollar. She turned to her mother. Mama, can I buy 1 bottle? Amina frowned. Why? You're not thirsty. Layla smiled. It's not for me. It's for someone else. Amina looked confused but handed her the money. Layla bought the bottle, then walked out to the street where construction workers were mixing cement under the burning sun. She walked up to one of them, a middle-aged man wiping sweat from his face. Excuse me, sir, she said shyly. Would you like to buy cold water? Only 2 dirhams. The man looked surprised but smiled. Cold? 2 dirhams? That's fair. He gave her the money and took the bottle gratefully. Layla's heart filled with excitement. She had just doubled her money. That evening, she told her mother everything, her eyes shining like stars. Mama, see? It worked. I made 2 dirhams from 1. Amina laughed, half amazed, half amused. Oh, Layla, you really did it. Layla nodded proudly. Tomorrow I'll buy 2 bottles and sell both. Amina hugged her daughter tightly, feeling both joy and disbelief. In her arms, she wasn't just holding her child. She was holding a dream that had just begun to come true. And far away, in his mansion, Sheikh Khalid had no idea that his small gesture, a simple dollar, had already started to change someone's destiny. That night, after selling her first bottle of water, Layla could not stop smiling. She kept turning the 2 shiny coins in her hand again and again, feeling proud. For the first time in her life, she had made her own money, not as a gift, not as charity, but through her own effort. Her mother, Amina, watched her from the kitchen table. She had seen her daughter's excitement before, but this time, it was different. There was a fire in Layla's eyes, a kind of determination that made Amina's heart both proud and worried. Life had taught Amina that dreams were beautiful but hard to chase when you came from nothing. Still, she didn't want to stop her daughter's hope. Layla, she said softly, I'm happy for you, but don't forget your studies, Layla nodded quickly. I won't, Mama. I'll study and I'll do this too. You'll see. I'll make something big one day. Amina smiled, hiding her tears. She had spent her whole life cleaning other people's homes so her daughter could have a better one. Maybe, just maybe, this was how that better life would begin. The next morning, Layla woke up early. The sun had just started to rise, painting the sky in soft orange and pink. She dressed quickly, took her school bag, and put the 2 dirhams in a small pouch. After school, she went straight to the same market. The shopkeeper recognized her. Back again, little one? He said kindly. Layla smiled. Yes, uncle. I want to buy 2 bottles today. He laughed. Ah, so business is growing? She nodded proudly. Yes, yesterday I sold 1. Today I will sell 2. The shopkeeper liked her confidence. Here you go, he said, handing her the bottles. Good luck. Layla walked to the same construction site. The workers were already sweating under the burning sun. She smiled and called out softly, Cold water. 2 dirhams only. Within minutes, both bottles were sold. She had made 4 dirhams. Her heart beat fast with joy. It was working. She was doing something real. For the next few days, she repeated the same routine, buying a few bottles after school and selling them near the site. Some workers began to know her by name. They would smile when they saw her coming, calling out, Layla, the little business lady is here. Each day she earned a little more. Soon she was making enough to buy a few snacks, small bags of chips and juice boxes which she sold too. She kept a small notebook where she wrote everything. How much she spent, how much she earned, what sold the fastest. She didn't know it, but she was already thinking like a businesswoman. Her mother noticed the change. Layla seemed more confident, more alive. She would come home tired but happy, her pockets jingling with coins. One evening, as they sat together eating dinner, Amina said, You're working so hard, my child. You make me proud. Layla smiled. It's because of that $1, Mama. The Sheikh gave me a chance, and I don't want to waste it. Amina nodded slowly. Yes, but remember, success takes time. Don't rush. Be patient. Layla agreed, though inside her, her dreams were racing ahead. She imagined having her own small shop, maybe even hiring other people one day, women like her mother who needed a chance. One afternoon, while she was selling near the same place, a driver from Sheikh Khalid's mansion stopped his car nearby. He recognized her immediately. Layla, he said with surprise. What are you doing here? Layla smiled shyly. Selling water and snacks, sir. The driver chuckled. Does the Sheikh know? She shook her head. No, sir. But maybe one day he will. When the driver returned home, he couldn't resist telling Sheikh Khalid what he had seen. The Sheikh was amused but also curious. Really? That little girl from Amina? She's selling water now? Yes, sir, the driver said with a smile. And doing quite well, it seems. The Sheikh laughed softly. Interesting. I gave her $1, and she turned it into something. That evening he thought about Layla again. He remembered her shy smile, her bright eyes, and how seriously she had taken his casual challenge. A part of him admired her spirit. He decided not to say anything yet. He wanted to see how far she would go on her own. Meanwhile, Layla kept working one small step at a time. She learned where to find cheaper bottles, which places had more thirsty workers, and which times of day were best for selling. Sometimes people teased her for being so young and serious, but she didn't care. She knew what she wanted, to grow, to help her mother, and to prove that even a small gift could change a life if you used it wisely. One day, after counting her coins, she looked at the small box where she kept her savings. It wasn't much, maybe enough to buy a week's worth of groceries, but it was hers. Every dirham in that box carried a story of hard work, courage, and faith. As she closed the box and lay down to sleep, she whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning," and she was right. What started as a game with a single dollar was slowly turning into something much bigger. Something that would soon reach back to the Sheikh himself, changing both their lives in ways neither of them could have imagined. The next morning, the sun rose bright and strong over the city. The streets shimmered with heat, and the sound of car horns echoed in the distance. But Layla woke up with excitement in her heart. She had saved a small amount of money now, a few coins that she had earned with her own hands. She looked at the small box beside her bed and smiled proudly. Her mother, Amina, was already preparing breakfast. The smell of tea and fresh bread filled their tiny kitchen. "Wake up properly, Layla," Amina said softly. "You'll be late for school." Layla nodded and began getting ready. She quickly washed her face, brushed her hair, and put on her school uniform. But even as she packed her school bag, her mind was somewhere else, on her little business. She was thinking of how to make it grow. After school, she went straight to the market again. The shopkeeper smiled when he saw her. "Ah, my little businesswoman is here again," he said kindly. Layla grinned. "Yes, uncle. Today I want to buy 4 bottles of water." The man laughed. 4? You're expanding fast." She nodded proudly. "I have to. There are more workers at the new construction site. They always ask for more." The shopkeeper handed her the bottles and said, "Good luck. One day, I'll be buying from your store." Layla laughed shyly, but inside, she liked the sound of that. "My store." The words felt magical. When she reached the site, the workers waved at her. "Layla, you're late today." One of them called out. "I brought more water today," she said happily, lifting the bottles. Cold and fresh. Within a few minutes, all her bottles were sold again. The men laughed and told her, "You'll be richer than your sheikh soon." Layla giggled but said, "No, I just want to make my mother proud." Each day after that, she worked harder. She began waking up earlier, helping her mother in the morning, studying in school, and then selling water and snacks after class. Slowly, people in the neighborhood started noticing her. Some admired her for being so hardworking, while others wondered how such a young girl could have so much courage. One afternoon, as she sat with her mother at home, she opened her small notebook. On one page, she drew a big circle and wrote in the middle, "My dream shop." Around it, she wrote smaller words like juice, snacks, bread, water, hope. Amina looked at the page and smiled softly. "You think about business all the time now." Layla nodded. Yes, Mama. But I don't just want to sell things. I want to make something better. Something that helps others too. Her mother didn't fully understand what she meant, but she could see that her daughter's dream was growing every day. The next week, Layla had an idea. Instead of selling bottles one by one, she wanted to make small packs. A bottle of water, a packet of chips, and a small juice box together, and sell them as a refreshment combo to workers. It would save them time and give her a little more profit. She tested her idea the next day. To her surprise, it worked even better than she had hoped. Many workers bought the combo because it was easy and affordable. By evening, she had sold everything. When she got home, she couldn't stop smiling. Mama, it worked. My new plan worked. Amina hugged her tightly. Mashallah, my clever girl. You keep surprising me. That night, Layla sat on her small bed and looked at the dollar bill that started it all. She had kept it safe inside her notebook. The paper was a little worn now, but to her it was priceless. She ran her fingers over it gently and whispered, "You changed my life." A few days later, she saw Sheikh Khalid again at his mansion. He had just returned from a business trip and was sitting in the garden, drinking Arabic coffee. Layla was waiting for her mother, holding her school books. The sheikh noticed her and smiled. "Ah, Layla, how have you been?" She smiled politely. "I'm good, sir. Thank you." He tilted his head curiously. "So, did you ever decide what to do with that dollar?" Layla hesitated for a moment, then said proudly, "Yes, sir. I used it to start something. I sell water and snacks after school now." The sheikh raised his eyebrows in surprise. "You what?" "Yes, sir," she said shyly but with confidence. "I started with one bottle of water. Now I sell many. I'm saving money to open a small shop one day." The sheikh leaned back in his chair, completely impressed. "That's incredible," he said with genuine admiration. "I only gave you $1 as a joke, but you turned it into something real. You've got the heart of an entrepreneur." Layla smiled. "Thank you, sir. You gave me the idea. I just didn't want to waste your trust." The sheikh nodded thoughtfully. "Keep going, Layla. Don't stop. You've already done what many adults can't. You believed in yourself." When Amina came out and saw them talking, she felt nervous. But the sheikh simply smiled at her. "Amina, your daughter is special. You should be very proud." Tears filled Amina's eyes. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. That evening, Layla could barely eat. Her heart was full of happiness. The sheikh had praised her. He had called her special. Felt like all her hard work had finally been noticed. Before sleeping, she whispered to her mother, "Mama, I think this is just the beginning. I want to do more, not just for us but for others too." Amina kissed her forehead. "Then do it, my love. Keep that dream alive." And so, Layla drifted to sleep with a smile on her face, not knowing that the small business she had built with $1 was soon going to grow into something far greater. Something that would change not only her life but also the lives of many others around her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Layla's small business was no longer just a child's experiment. It had become something real. Every afternoon after school, she went straight to the market. Her bag was heavier now, not with books, but with water bottles, juice boxes, and small snacks neatly packed. People in the area started recognizing her. "Here comes the hard-working girl," they would say. Shopkeepers smiled when they saw her, and the workers she sold to would wave at her happily. Some even called her Little Boss. Layla had learned many things on her own. She had learned how to talk to people kindly, how to keep her prices fair, and how to save money instead of spending it. Every night, she wrote in her notebook how much she sold, how much she earned, and what she needed to buy the next day. Her notebook was filled with numbers, small ideas, and little dreams scribbled in the corners. Her mother, Amina, watched her with pride. She could not believe how much her little girl had grown. The quiet, shy Layla was turning into a confident young girl with purpose in her eyes. One evening, Amina sat with her neighbor, Fatima, drinking tea. Fatima said, "Your daughter is amazing, Amina. I see her every day at the market working so hard. She's an example for everyone." Amina smiled but said humbly, "She's still young. But yes, she's determined. She wants to do something big one day." Fatima nodded. "She already is. Do you know some girls in the area have started helping her after school? She pays them a little too." Amina was surprised. "Really? She never told me that." When Layla came home later that evening, Amina asked her, "Is it true that you're hiring other girls to help you?" Layla smiled shyly. "A little bit, Mama. I can't sell at two places at once, so I asked my friends from school to help me. I give them some money, and they help me sell." Amina's eyes softened with pride. "My child, you've started giving others work. You're doing something good." Layla's eyes sparkled. "Yes, Mama. I don't just want to earn money. I want to help other girls too. Some of them don't have fathers, just like me. Maybe this can help them buy their school things." That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She thought about how life had changed. Just a year ago, she used to worry about every small expense. Rent, food, school fees. Now, because of her daughter's courage, hope had entered their small home again. Layla too lay awake in bed, thinking. She had come so far from that $1 the sheik had given her. But inside, she felt there was still so much more to do. She didn't just want to sell water and snacks. She wanted to build something lasting, something with her own name on it. The next morning, while waiting for her mother at the mansion, Layla saw Sheikh Khalid again. He was talking to his driver but noticed her and waved. "Ah, Layla, how is business?" Layla smiled brightly. "It's going well, sir. I even hired some girls to help me." The sheik raised his eyebrows, impressed. "Really? That's amazing. You're turning into a true entrepreneur." Layla blushed but replied, "Thank you, sir. I want to make something big one day, maybe a shop or a company." The sheik laughed warmly. "You remind me of myself when I was young, ambitious and full of dreams. Keep it up, Layla." After he walked away, Layla felt a rush of motivation. The sheik's words gave her more strength. She wanted to prove that his trust in her wasn't misplaced. Over the next few months, Layla's small business grew even more. She saved enough to buy a small cart. With her mother's help, she painted it white and blue and wrote on it in neat handwriting, "Layla's Refreshments." The day she first pushed that cart onto the street, her heart beat fast with excitement. People stopped to look. Some smiled and said, "Wow, she even has her own name on it now." Business improved quickly. Her loyal customers, the workers, drivers, and passers-by, kept coming back. Some even gave her tips, saying, "Keep growing, little one." Every coin she earned felt like a step toward her dream. She didn't care about the heat, the long hours, or the tired feet. Every time she saw her mother's proud smile, she knew it was worth it. One evening, while Layla was closing her cart, a woman in a fancy car stopped nearby. She bought a bottle of water and asked, "This is your cart?" Layla nodded. "Yes, ma'am." The woman smiled kindly. "It's very neat. You must be hard-working." Layla replied softly, "I try my best. I started this with just $1. The woman looked amazed. $1? That's unbelievable. When she drove away, Layla realized how powerful her story had become. What started with a simple gift had turned into a story people found inspiring. That night, she sat with her mother and said, "Mama, one day, I'll have a real shop, not just a cart, a proper shop with a sign, shelves, and customers. And I'll name it after you." Amina's eyes filled with tears. She held her daughter close and whispered, "You already give me more pride than I ever dreamed of, my child." Outside, the city lights shimmered like stars on earth. Somewhere far away in his grand mansion, Sheikh Khalid looked out his window, thinking about the little girl who had turned $1 into a dream. He smiled to himself, unaware that the best part of Layla's journey was still yet to come. And in a small corner of Dubai, under the soft glow of streetlights, Layla's cart stood shining. A small symbol of hope, courage, and faith that one dream, no matter how small, could change everything. Time moved quickly. Layla was no longer just a little girl with a cart. She had become well known in her neighborhood. People loved her energy, her smile, and her story. Everyone called her the girl who turned $1 into a dream. Every morning before school, she helped her mother with breakfast. After school, she went straight to her cart. Some days were hard, the weather was too hot or sales were low. But Layla never gave up. Her dream was bigger than her struggles. She had now hired 3 girls from her school to help her at different spots. They wore matching blue scarves as a small symbol of their team. When people saw them working together, they smiled. It wasn't just a business anymore. It was a group of young girls learning courage, teamwork, and self-respect. One afternoon, the sky was clear, and the streets were busy. Layla stood near her cart, handing out bottles of water and snack packs. As she worked, she saw posters going up nearby. A large charity event was happening that weekend. The event was organized by a foundation that helped poor families and children continue their education. Layla's heart jumped. She told her mother later that night, "Mama, I want to be part of that event. Maybe I can sell my refreshments there, or even donate something small." Amina smiled proudly. "That's a wonderful idea, my love. You've received kindness in your life, so it's good to give it back." For the next few days, Layla prepared. She cleaned her cart, packed more snacks, and even printed a small paper banner that read Layla's refreshments, $1 dream. When the day of the event arrived, the park was full of people. Children, families, businessmen, and kind-hearted volunteers. Colorful tents and stalls lined the area. Layla set up her small cart near the entrance, arranging everything neatly. She wasn't just there to sell. She had decided that half of her earnings that day would go to help poor children like herself. As the event went on, her stall became quite popular. People stopped not just to buy, but to hear her story. They were amazed that such a young girl had built something meaningful from just $1. Then, something unexpected happened. A man in traditional white clothes with bodyguards following behind arrived at the event. Everyone recognized him at once. It was Sheikh Khalid Al-Mansour. Layla froze for a moment. Her heart began to race. She hadn't seen him for months. The sheikh walked through the stalls, greeting people warmly. When he reached Layla's cart, he stopped. His eyes widened slightly as he read the small sign, "Layla's refreshments, $1 dream." He looked at the young girl behind the cart and smiled. "Layla?" Layla quickly bowed her head respectfully. "Assalamu alaikum, sir." The sheikh chuckled. "Wa alaikum assalam. So this is your business?" Layla nodded, her voice shaking slightly. "Yes, sir. It started with the $1 you gave me." For a few seconds, the sheikh just looked at her cart. The neat rows of water bottles, the cheerful decorations, the handwritten price list. He looked back at Layla, his eyes soft with surprise and pride. "You really did it," he said quietly. "You turned that small gift into something amazing." Layla smiled nervously. "I wanted to show you that even a small thing can grow if we work hard." The sheikh nodded slowly, visibly touched. "You've done more than that, Layla. You've turned a small gesture into a lesson. For me, and for everyone here." He called over one of his assistants. "Make a note of her name," he said. "We'll need to talk more." The people around them began whispering, realizing who she was speaking to. Many clapped for her, cheering, "Bravo, Layla!" and "Well done." Layla's cheeks turned red with embarrassment, but she couldn't stop smiling. Later that evening, after the event ended, Sheikh Khalid called her and her mother to his office. His office was large and full of books, paintings, and the scent of oud perfume. Layla sat quietly beside her mother, feeling both nervous and excited. The sheikh looked at them kindly. "Amina," he said, "you've raised a remarkable daughter. I only gave her $1, but she gave it value. She gave it life." Amina's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, sir," she said softly. "She worked very hard. I just prayed for her success." The sheikh turned to Layla. "Tell me, Layla, what do you want to do next?" Layla thought for a moment, then said, "I want to study business one day, sir. I want to learn how to grow my work properly, and maybe help other girls too." The sheikh smiled proudly. "That's a beautiful dream. You deserve a chance to make it real." He opened a drawer and took out an envelope. "This," he said, handing it to her, is a scholarship. It will cover your education at one of the best business schools in Dubai. Layla's eyes widened. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. For me, sir? Yes, the sheikh said warmly. For you. You've earned it. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. The sheikh smiled. I know you won't. You've already proven yourself. When they left the office that night, Layla and her mother held hands, walking under the bright lights of the city. Amina whispered, See, my child? Hard work always brings light. Layla looked up at the sky, her heart full. She thought of the small green dollar bill that had started it all. What began as a simple challenge had now changed her life completely. And far behind them, in his office, Sheikh Khalid sat by the window, thinking about Layla. He smiled to himself and said softly, Sometimes the smallest gifts create the biggest miracles. The next few months were like a dream for Layla. Everything in her life began to change, but in a beautiful and inspiring way. After receiving the scholarship from Sheikh Khalid, she got admission to one of the best business schools in Dubai. For a girl who once sold water on the streets, walking into a big campus with shining buildings and smart students felt almost unreal. On her first day, she stood outside the main gate for a few seconds, holding her bag tightly. She could feel her heart beating fast. She was nervous but also proud. Her mother had ironed her clothes the night before, saying, Walk in with your head high, Layla. You've earned this with your hard work. Inside the campus, everything looked so big. Clean halls, computer labs, and students from all over the world. Some came in expensive cars wearing designer clothes. Layla felt a bit out of place at first. But then she remembered the sheikh's words. You've already proven yourself. Those words gave her strength. She worked hard every single day. She listened carefully in class, took notes, and asked questions. Many students were surprised by her story when they learned who she was, the girl who started with $1. Some admired her, some were curious, and a few even asked for her advice on how to start their own small businesses. Layla was always humble. She would say, Start with what you have. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The important thing is to begin. Her teachers quickly noticed her passion and creativity. One day, her business professor called her after class. Layla, he said, you have something special. You understand business not just with your mind but with your heart. Have you thought about starting something new while you study? Layla smiled. Yes, sir. I've been thinking about making a small company one day, something that helps street sellers like me grow. The professor nodded approvingly. That's a wonderful idea. You should start planning it now. That night, Layla couldn't sleep. Her mind was full of ideas. She took out her old notebook, the same one she used to write her sales and savings in. She wrote at the top of a new page, Project Hope Cart. Her idea was simple but powerful, to create a business that helps poor people start small street carts for food and drinks. She wanted to teach them how to manage money, how to talk to customers, and how to grow their earnings just like she did. Weeks turned into months, and Layla worked on her project day and night. Her professors helped her with plans, and her classmates supported her with designs and marketing ideas. Slowly, her dream started to take shape. Meanwhile, Sheikh Khalid kept in touch with her progress. Every few weeks, he would call Amina to ask how Layla was doing. She's studying very hard, Amina would proudly say. Sometimes she forgets to eat because she's so busy writing her plans. The sheikh would laugh warmly. That's how true leaders begin. One evening, the sheikh invited Layla to his office again. When she arrived, he asked her to show him her progress. She brought her project file, filled with notes, drawings, and ideas. As he looked through it, his face lit up with admiration. You've built a real plan here, he said. This isn't just a dream anymore. It's something that can help thousands of people. Layla smiled shyly. That's what I want, sir. To give others the same chance you gave me. The sheikh leaned back in his chair. Then it's time to make it real. I'll invest in your project, Layla. You will be the youngest entrepreneur in my foundations program. Layla gasped. You mean, you'll help me start it? Yes, he said kindly. You'll lead it. I'll just guide you. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you, sir. I don't know how to thank you enough. The sheikh smiled. You already have, my child. Watching you grow is the greatest reward. Over the next few months, everything moved fast. The Sheikh's foundation helped Layla register HopeCart as a small social enterprise. They provided her with funding, mentors, and a small office space. Layla hired a few people from her old neighborhood, including the same girls who once sold water with her. They helped design carts, talk to street vendors, and teach them how to manage money. The first group of sellers they helped were 5 women from poor families. Layla gave them each a new cart with clean equipment, uniforms, and some initial stock. When they started earning, some of them cried with joy. One woman hugged Layla and said, "You don't just give us work, you give us hope." Those words stayed in Layla's heart forever. She realized that her dream had become bigger than she imagined. It was no longer about money. It was about changing lives. News of her project spread quickly. Newspapers wrote about her, from $1 to HopeCart, the inspiring journey of a maid's daughter. When Sheikh Khalid read the article, he smiled proudly. He showed it to his friends and said, "This is the best investment I ever made." Layla's story inspired many others to help. Donations started coming in. Volunteers joined her mission. Her small idea was turning into a movement. One evening, Layla stood in front of her small office window, watching the sunset over the city. She remembered the dusty street where she once sold water, the faces of her first customers, and the kind hand that gave her that $1. She whispered softly, "Thank you, Sheikh Khalid. You gave me a chance and I gave it wings." And somewhere in his grand mansion, the sheikh looked out at the same sunset, feeling a deep sense of peace. He had given away $1, and in return, he had received something far greater, the joy of seeing a life transformed forever. But neither of them knew that destiny still had one final surprise waiting, something that would touch both their hearts more deeply than ever before. Years passed, and Layla's life changed in ways she could never have imagined. HopeCart grew from a small local project into a national movement. It spread across cities, helping hundreds of poor families start their own small businesses. Every time a new cart rolled onto the street with the words HopeCart, a dollar dream, written on it, Layla felt tears in her eyes. Each cart carried not just food or water. It carried a story, a new beginning, and a spark of hope. Layla had become a young woman now, confident and graceful, but still humble. She never forgot where she came from. She often visited the old neighborhood where it all began, the same dusty street where she sold her first water bottle. The people there treated her like family. Some would say, "Our Layla made us proud," and children would run after her, calling, "HopeCart Layla." But even as her success grew, she stayed close to her mother, Amina. They still lived in the same small but cozy house. Amina always told her, "Never let success change your heart, my child. Always stay kind." And Layla always did. One day, Layla received a message from Sheikh Khalid's office. He wanted to meet her. She hadn't seen him for many months. He had become busier with his companies and charities, but he always followed her journey with pride. Layla went to his mansion, holding a small box in her hands. When she entered his office, she noticed that Sheikh Khalid looked older now. His beard had more white in it, and his eyes looked tired, but when he saw Layla, they lit up with warmth. "Ah, my shining star," he said kindly. "You've made me so proud. The whole country knows your name now." Layla smiled shyly. "Only because you gave me a chance, sir. You believed in me when no one else did." The sheikh chuckled softly. "I gave you $1, Layla. You gave the world 1,000 dreams." They both laughed, and for a moment, the room was filled with quiet peace. Layla then placed the small box on his desk. "Sir, I brought you something." The sheikh looked surprised. "For me?" "Yes," she said with a soft smile. "It's something small, but it means a lot to me." He opened the box slowly. Inside was a neatly folded, slightly faded $1 bill, the same one he had given her years ago. For a long moment, the sheikh just stared at it, silent. His eyes softened. "Is this the same dollar?" he asked quietly. Layla nodded. "Yes, sir. I kept it safe all these years." It reminded me that even the smallest kindness can change a life. The Sheikh's eyes grew misty. He touched the dollar gently, as if it were made of glass. Layla, this is the most valuable thing I've ever received in my life. He placed the dollar back into the box and said, I will keep this forever. Not as money, but as a lesson. Layla smiled warmly. I wanted to return it, sir, because now I've multiplied its value in kindness. You gave it to me once. Now it has touched hundreds of lives. The Sheikh looked at her with deep pride. You've done what I could only dream of, Layla. You turned generosity into a cycle. You've made people believe again. In hard work, in hope, in goodness. For a few minutes, they just sat quietly, remembering the past. The mansion, the dusty street, the little girl with shining eyes and big dreams. Then the Sheikh said softly, Layla, I'm getting old now. My time is slowing down. But when I look at you, I feel peace. I know the world will be in good hands. Layla felt her eyes fill with tears. Please don't say that, sir. You have so much more to do. He smiled gently. Maybe. But even if I did nothing more, I'd still be happy, because of you. After a while, Amina joined them for tea. They talked and laughed like old friends. It wasn't a meeting between a rich man and a maid's daughter anymore. It was a meeting between two souls connected by kindness. A few months later, the Sheikh's health began to decline. He spent more time resting, and Layla often visited him. Sometimes she would read to him, sometimes just sit quietly by his side. He told her stories of his youth, how he built his empire, how he once struggled too. One evening, he said softly, Layla, promise me something. Yes, sir, she said. Promise me you'll keep Hope Card alive. Not just as a business, but as a light for others. Layla held his hand gently. I promise, sir. It will never stop. The Sheikh smiled and closed his eyes, peaceful. A few weeks later, when the news of his passing spread, the whole city mourned. He was loved by thousands, but for Layla, the loss felt personal. She cried quietly, remembering the man who had changed her life with a single dollar and a kind heart. At his funeral, she stood near his resting place and whispered, Thank you, Sheikh Khalid. Your kindness will live forever. Through every cart, every dream, every life touched by hope. Years later, Layla became one of the most respected young business leaders in the region. Her company expanded internationally, helping poor families in other countries too. But no matter how far she went, she always carried the Sheikh's lessons in her heart. In her office, framed on the wall behind her desk, was the photo of that same $1 bill, the symbol of how everything began. Under it, she had written one simple line, $1 can change a life, if given with love. And every time someone asked her how she achieved so much, she would smile and say, Because one man believed in me, and because I never stopped believing in myself. In the end, Layla's story became more than a tale of success. It became a story of faith, kindness, and the power of one small act to change the world forever.